Money, money, money. Money, money, money. We got that fly, you that money. We talk about that money. We all about that money. Money, money, money. Money, money, money. We got that fly, Nubian money. We talk about that money. We all about that money. We love our black skin, our melanin, always focusing in on that money. We always win, money never thin, 'cause we hustling, always focusing in money, 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 money. We got that money, 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 money. We that fly Nubian money. Boss talk, only we stack it up.
Welcome to Fly Nubia Monday. That intro always does it for me. Did you write that, Tiara?
I did.
I need you've missed one of your other callings. Like, you could be definitely writing intro outros for folks. I feel like I need one. I feel like I'm gonna have to reach out, because it doesn't matter what kind of mood I'm in. When that Fly Nubia Monday come out, I'll be like, oh, body roll. Okay.
Not body roll. Come on, give me a body roll. I need one.
Early in the morning. Okay.
I need it.
Welcome to Fly Nubia Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money. I am Dr. LaNée Javette, your host for today. Black creators have become some of the biggest drivers of culture online, from trends and music to slang, fashion, beauty, and entertainment. Much of what goes viral on the internet starts with a Black creator, or Black creativity for that matter. But many creators are now speaking out about major pay gaps inside the influencer industry, saying they are often offered smaller deals, lower budgets, and less long-term support than white creators with similar engagement and reach. Visibility does not always equal value, and going viral does not automatically mean people are being paid fairly for the culture and or the creativity that they create. Listen, it's the age-old adage of taking the Black man and or woman's creativity. We've been seeing this since slavery days with patents and trademarks. And it's just a new way to do it by taking people's creative thoughts and energy on the internet. I'm joined today by Tiara Williams, aka Karma J, aka Miss Black Hollywood, aka Executive Producer Extraordinaire, and Miss Aisha Verzi, our financial expert. And you in the chat, thank you for joining us as always. What's up? Let us know you're out there listening. Put a comment. Let us know where you're chiming in from. I see you AA82 and Booker 1138. Let's talk about it. All of us create. I wouldn't call myself a creator per se, but I'm online. I'm creating content. I'm doing video. Same with you, Tiara. You create music. Aisha, you're doing content online. Again, we may not call ourselves creators from the perspective of brand deals and things of that nature, but we create. So let's say you create something of your own mind, of your own creativity. You put it online. Let's say it does like 1,000, 1,500, 2,500. Let's just say it does 5,000 views. Somebody else picks it up of the clear persuasion and they do 50,000 views. What are your thoughts? How do you feel about that, Tiara?
Definitely annoyed, right? I just think that in general, I'll say the others and other creatives definitely, like others as in other races, definitely take from Black creators. But I think in general, I'm just thinking about how often I hear Constance say, like, people reposted my video and didn't give me my credit. Or I just hear often Black creators saying they created something. The young lady, and I guess we'll get into it, but her name is Yanni Coleman. She's the one that coined face card never declines, and Elf, the makeup brand, took it and put it on a commercial. Like, so it's just I just think there's something about that we are just creative. We're an amazing people, and we're gonna come up with the slang and all the things. And and it just seems like it's people gonna take it. So your answer to answer your question, yes, I'd be pissed, but also understanding there needs to be some things put in place before I start to put out content. Or you're just making it for, you just have to understand what you're making it for. Go ahead, LaNée.
You actually made a good point, because when you think about showing up online, you don't necessarily know what's going to go viral or what's going to stick. So when you make a statement like face card never declining, you're not thinking automatically, let me go run and trademark that.
Yeah.
And because you spoke it and it came on the internet, anyone can come behind you and use it. And there's that legality there of you spoke it, it was yours innovatively, creatively, but you did not legally protected because you're just speaking on online, right?
Yeah.
But that does matter when it comes to who gets paid for it. Aisha, what about you? What are your thoughts about having your likeness, your voice, your concepts and ideas around financial literacy? Maybe you say something, somebody uses it, it goes viral when they use or say what you told them to do, but they don't give you any credit.
If somebody steals Rise and was like, it's real estate insurance and the stock market entrepreneurship, I came up with that. Well, how would you feel about that?
Definitely very frustrated. Of course, you're frustrated and say, "Excuse me, I started this, right?" So the thing is, you just like Dr. LaNée said, you just never know what's going to go viral. You don't know. So then do you now say everything I say it's under legality? You don't know, right?
Yeah.
But when it happens, of course I'll be frustrated, and I will definitely find a way to see if I can get some kind of compensation. And so it's now important to us to start thinking when we speak. When I say a phrase, should I make sure before I say this phrase that I have things in place? Just now we have to just think different, since we know this is happening. It's happening over and over again, because I'll be mad and I will definitely go after them and say, hey, listen, when did you start using this word? Well, this is let's go back and see where it started from, right? And then I think the law will probably help us if we can trace back when we started it. But I'll be mad. Of course, I'll be mad and frustrated.
And again, it's only if you can trace back. There's
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where I just seen this, but I literally just saw this within like the last hour. Actually, it was Takara Davis. She's a lawyer, a trademark lawyer online. And she was talking about a client who bought into a franchise, beauty business, if you will, franchisee, and set it up, named it, got the building. The name is about to go on the building, and she got a cease and desist order in the mail. And she was like, well, hold on. I paid $15,000 for this franchise. We about to open the doors and go to business. What had happened was the franchisor, the person who owned the business, they never trademarked the name, and their assistant went and trademarked the name. So the assistant was like, hold on, but you can't be out here franchising nothing because I own the name. So we have to be protecting our stuff. We got to be protecting our stuff. Now, there's extremalities of this, but today we're talking about being paid for it. Like, we're not necessarily talking about the whole protection piece. We're really talking about who's getting paid what for creative licensing, creative energy, what's going out into the world, especially when a Black creator was the one who did it first and somebody else did it who doesn't look like us, and they get paid more. So let's go to our first video, and then we'll keep the conversation going.
That Black content creators face and getting paid. We always fixate on the supremely white, like skinny, big boobs, blonde, very blonde, blue-eyed, white content creator, which in this cycle is Alex Earl, and it might move into that little white girl that bought a house in the Hamptons off of her influencer career. But who we don't talk enough about? Well, we don't talk enough about colorism and how it shows up in this space, because even when Black content creators do get picked and are getting paid well, the first pick is almost always a light-skinned, multiracial, if not biracial, neutral Black content creator. You can also call them the palatable Black content creator. How do you remain neutral? How do you remain palatable? By never bringing up your Black identity, by never bringing up the politics of being Black, by never saying anything political. And it's funny to me because the couple that I think of is that light-skinned couple where the husband had a funny laugh, and it was definitely an act, but whatever. And now the wife is testing out luxury heels by jumping up and down in them and running around her big, beautiful house with them on. And that couple in particular is funny to me because the tea is that supposedly at least she is or was a Jehovah's Witness, a pacifist religion that does not participate in politics. And so there's a few things converging together to make that couple particularly a good representation of like neutral Black content creators. And I can pretty confidently say that they are not feeling the impacts of a pay gap too tough.
She talking about the ones that's going through the divorce right now.
Christy.
Christy, that's what she's
And
talking about.
Desmond.
It took me a minute to realize that that was Christy. I remember when she used to do those videos jumping around and hopping around and doing flips and breakdancing and stuff. It took me a minute to realize later on. I was like, that's old girl.
Mhm.
You can literally go famous these days for anything. And before I give my thoughts, what do you think? How do you feel, or what do you think that there is truth to what she said with regards to colorism around who's chosen to get particular brand deals or influencer deals, but also how they are paid?
Mhm.
Aisha, I'll start with you.
I absolutely agree. And even just looking, if you look at commercials, there is always a way to want to make it as light as possible. It's even, just looking, you can just tell. And what they pay, I won't be surprised, because they rather give those that fit their mold and pay them more than those that they think, well, my final last pick. You know what I mean? Because I have no choice and this is my final pick. It's been this way for a long time. It's like into this country. I just noticed it. Why is it that every commercial they all look the same? Why is it that, and even they want to deviate, it still looks kind of the same, right? That's because they have an agenda. They want to only push one particular narrative, where the color is what you see first, and then you make a decision, which is very unfortunate, but that's just the truth. And with that, you get paid less if you don't match that mold that they're trying to project, unfortunately. And it's happening, and I think even with social media, it's not going to stop, unfortunately. And I just think that hopefully we will try thinking about ways that we can now maybe overcome that, maybe by creating our own things where it's for our own people. But if we're not the general public, I think that colorism is always going to play a role, unfortunately.
I think they do. I think they choose light skinned, uh, mixed race because it's ambiguous, right? And
Mhm.
because it's ambiguous, it feels as if anybody can relate to it, right? If you're white, they're fair skinned enough. If you're black, okay, they're mixed, they got a little bit of black. If you're Hispanic, they look native, just enough. So ambiguous says we've covered them all, we've covered everybody, right? And because of that, we're going to pay them a little bit better, a little bit more, because we don't have to do a white video and a black video. But then when you have a black person, I believe the thinking is they're only appealing to black people.
Yeah.
So if you're only appealing to black people, we really don't have to pay you as much, because the net that you're casting, the ability to attract, is only this demographic.
Correct.
But if we bring somebody in who's ambiguous and they represent all the people, now we have something we can do. We can use this content longer. We can position this content multiple ways. It is going to attract a variety, of different people, and therefore more valuable.
Yeah.
Right. I think
Yeah.
that's where that colorism marketing idea perspective. I wish that they would look at entertainment. Well, hold on, as I think about this, I'm like, black people bring in black people. I was literally about to say exactly what they're saying, but it's not just that. Because black folks are creative folks, and because we lead the culture, we attract all kinds of people, not just black
We
people.
do.
We're gonna bring in some Hispanic people. We're gonna bring in some white folks. I think that they don't think about it holistically and realistically. Because if they did, they would know that, right? Black men, listen, black men's gonna bring in some white ladies, black women gonna bring in some white boys, some Hispanic boys. Like, you get the right folks up there, we gonna bring in the people. So I disagree with that. In the comment in the chat, let me know what you guys think. With regards to, okay, I'm about to get her. I wanted to get her take on that. There you
Yeah.
go. She's back.
Yes. Somebody tried to call me. What's up? What I miss?
What were your thoughts? I wanted to get your thoughts on, I gave my concept on why I think it is, but what are your thoughts around the video with regards to certain creators getting certain deals and pay being a certain kind of way. I call them ambiguous, right? Those content creators who you can set in front of anybody and they can literally represent white folks, light-skinned folks, black folks, Hispanics, Native. Like you just feel like this person has a little bit of something. Like we even as black people, we say it. I don't know what she got a little something in her though. Like we know she got a little something. And because of that, white folks, black, everybody feels like they're represented.
Yeah, it's interesting because I always think, I know we've been talking about Hollywood and we've been talking about advertising and just like the face of television. And I learned a long time ago, just working in the business, um, I was just thinking about how visibility, and this is not what you asked me, and I'm gonna answer what you asked me, LaNée, but I was just thinking about visibility in general and how all the time that doesn't necessarily equate to money. Like how 90% of the people that are on television and are broke, 90% of them, right? Or they're trying to get money in different ways, but from that art, they're not being paid. And I think that just in general, if we're more mindful about the way that we structure deals, the way we protect our likeness, and again, we've already talked about this, but I think that's why, like us not understanding how important our likeness and our IP and the things that we create. And so we don't create that around them. And likely and I'm just speaking in general, but I'm saying one can get a bit desperate. Like if you were offered something, you're trying to make something work and you're trying to get your feet off the ground. I just feel like sometimes companies take advantage and they exploit young creatives as they're trying to, make money or trying to figure it out. So the question was,
Does that mean you don't think it's around colorism per se? Around expertise, engagement, how long you've been in the industry, how many numbers you have?
yeah, I think that matters. I think that it matters, but I'm seeing that sometimes certain people can pop off, and we're talking about, even if it's a what. Okay, so I'll use this as an example. Sometimes it's crazy because when you look at black artists, and I'm speaking in Hollywood, they have to have this resume, they have to have all these things before they can be broken into or get the attention and the likeness that maybe like a non-known white new artist, like white artists and actresses are broke all the time. And then like with I feel like there's something about um I just feel like there's something about that. I feel like it matters, but it doesn't matter. Like if you can take a white girl that has a certain look and feel and aesthetic, and she can get those types of deals with virtually not as much engagement as her black counterpart. You know what I mean? So I don't know if it necessarily matters. And I hear you what she said when she said colorism, and I think colorism always has mattered, right? Just if you're soft and you have a soft look, it's not too aggressive. I think it makes the difference. It makes me think of, and this is going off on a bit of a tangent, but it makes me think of the Michael movie. I think we had a conversation, like if Michael hadn't softened his features, I wonder if he would have been able to appeal to everybody in the way that he did. I know that was just off, but I think about the softening of features, the softening of hair, making yourself more palatable to get that commercial success. I just always think about that and what we have to go through to get to that, you know?
I always think about when you start thinking about black. Okay, so there's two things here. One is if we take off our conspiracy hat and we put on our business hat, okay, and we just look at the numbers. I'm just gonna play devil's advocate real quick. We just look at the numbers from a marketing perspective. If we look at percentages, how many white folks are in the United States, Hispanics, Mexican, Chinese, black? When you look at the numbers, they're the larger race, if you will, right? From a marketing perspective, we're going to market to them more, and we're going to pay them more because of this, for the sake of their reach, and the quantity of people in the United States is going to be wider. Now, that's from the marketing perspective. Now, if I was a marketing person sitting in here thinking about culture, I would look to the Black people and I would say, yeah, but they lead the culture for a certain demographic at a certain point in a certain age, right? We're not leading the Republicans, right? Like Black culture is not leading the Republicans. However, we are leading probably middle schoolers, high schoolers, college kids who are tapped into rap or hip hop or still going to the concerts and things of that nature, probably up to 30, if you will, right? And so it's important that we have marketing assets that include Black people, so that because we know that people buy from people who they know, like, and trust, so they want to see themselves in the marketing and the advertising. We know that it is important that we have marketing for that white audience that is led by the culture, right? But from a marketing perspective, in a corporate boardroom, they're not thinking equal pay. They're thinking this is the majority. These are the people who are spending the money, who have the larger numbers. So we should pay them something different. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying from a business perspective, that's normally how you're thinking. Business is not fair. Now, when we bring this down to the molecular level of, but this is just regular everyday people on the internet who are going after the same brand deals. You want to be an ambassador for Marriott? I want to be an ambassador for Marriott. You have 10,000 followers. I have 10,000 followers. Why do you get paid $5,000 for the same structured deal that I have, and I only get paid $2,000? Now that's become something different. Now it is, you have apples and apples and oranges to oranges. Why? Because you have a white face or a light-skinned face or an ambiguous look. Do you get paid more than I, and we're doing the same thing and we have the same brand deal? It becomes something different at this level, I think. What do you guys think?
It's so interesting what you said about advertising and marketing and all of that, because Black stories have shown, Black people, I think, have shown that our stories, our culture, everything about us travels. And so we appeal to white people. White people take what we create. So saying that, you know what I mean? Saying that they're trying to appeal to a certain person, we appeal to those people in every single way, right? They take
We
everything
know
that
that,
we do.
but in corporate boardrooms, they're not believe that. In the boardrooms, they're not talking about that in the boardrooms.
Okay.
The
All
people who are doing, the people who are putting out content, we see it all the time. All the time we see ads and we say, was anybody Black in that room?
right.
We always do it. Like somebody, people who look like us cannot be sitting in these boardrooms because they be putting out ads and graphics and campaigns, and we be like, they be tone deaf. They're literally not thinking about it that way.
No. Yeah, I agree. I think it's all about also conversion, like what you said. Okay, Marriott, you bring 5,000, I bring 5,000, but then I get paid this much and you get paid this much. At the end of the day, I think it's also, if it's business, only business, it's all about conversion rate, right? Who is converting? If we have 5,000 and 5,000, but my 5,000 bring in the money and your 5,000 doesn't bring the money. So then they'll pay you according to what the conversion rate. Because if we have businesses, right, if we're really, let's say plain field, that is how they'll decide. So in those boardrooms, when they have their meetings and they look at the numbers, who is converting? You may draw in 10,000 people, but how many of them convert? And we see the profit that we're looking for. And we know that the other people do convert. When they convert, and then it stays in the books, while maybe ours convert, but it doesn't stay in the book. So I think these are the nuances that maybe we may not see that's happening behind the scenes, that they are using to make all this payment or commissions they give people because of the conversion rate. And we have to really see that also as something that does affect, the pay of each person. And like Anonymous was saying, sometimes you don't know. We might be guessing, or we might be thinking, well, maybe they do the same thing. But unless we see the numbers, like really see the numbers, we don't really know. So I think that if I'm a business owner, I'll definitely look at the conversion. Which one is giving me more profit? Then I'll pay them more. And I think at the end of the day, that's what happens behind the scenes.
Okay, that's. Do we have another video, Tiara?
Yeah, but I wanted to show you what inspired this actually. So tell me if you can see this.
Yes.
So there was a hold on, let me move our banner. I'm on the ones and twos. All right, so there was basically a lawyer that came out and said, "Hey, I've represented." Let me go back if I can. I've no. All right. She says she represented a lawyer alleges major pay gap in influencer deals. Black creators lowballed while others get six figures, right? And so it says, as a lawyer who has repped large creators, the disparity in pay gap between Black creators and white creators is astounding. Agencies and brands need to be held accountable. I say agencies because a lot of managers and agencies will lowball to close the deal instead of working hard to articulate the value prop and advocate for their creator. You're offering a Black creator with millions of followers 15K, but a white creator with 300,000 followers $200,000 and a brand trip. So $15,000, y'all, in comparison to $200,000. You know what I mean? That's a lot. That's a large gap.
That is a large gap. So some of this. So then there's. So do you think? Do we think are creators being taught enough about negotiation? I see a lot of times, um, creators or UGCs talk about their first one or two or three brand deals and how badly they got took to the cleaners because they just didn't know. And then as they grow in experience doing brand deals and whatnot, they get better at it and they can kind of get closer to what they're supposed to be at. However, I also can see and not understand, but I also can see having somebody represent you and they just trying to get a commission. So they're not working that hard for you. They just try here's something, but working harder for their white clients going to the mat because they know what they can get. What do you think about that? How do you feel? What are your thoughts around that, Aisha?
Yeah, it's so unfortunate. Like she said, the council doesn't go to work for that person, or they just say, "Oh, just take the deal, take the deal." They don't really work hard to make sure that they close all the gaps and make sure that this person actually gets what they deserve, right? And then the person too now that is being represented perhaps also quickly accepts the deal because they want something right away, and not playing hard too to say, no, listen, I understand what I bring to the table. I know what I know, and I'm not going to settle. So having the right people that really have your best interest at heart and really want to fight hard for you is important. And we've seen that all the time too, whether it's in different cases, whether it's business, whatever it is. Some councils just don't work hard enough for our people. They just don't. As soon as something is given, let's settle, let's take it. This is the best deal you can get. And then you're like, okay, really? And then because you don't really know as much, you might accept it. And then tomorrow, somebody else is like smoking you. You're like, excuse me, what did I miss? What did I miss? So how do we fix that? It's so hard. And I hope that we can have our own council that will go to war for us, that will stand with us and fight till the end. But it's difficult when you don't have that kind of people fighting, next to you, because you just want to close the deal and just move on. And so what do you do? Right? What do you do?
I definitely think taking some type of course or class on, if somebody is interested in UGC or user generated content with regards to becoming an influencer, getting brand deals, take a class, know what to do, because I think that they are preying on folks who don't know, and or if you don't know your value or how to even just put a deal together, because I almost everybody I know who has brand deals or has gone that route, their first 2 or 3 deals sucked. Like just bad. We have another video. Did you want to comment on this, Tiara, before we go to the video?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that desperation that I was talking about earlier. I think that was what I was trying to get at, even though I went around the mountain to get to it. I think in the beginning of, careers, and even while you're in it, you're just trying to eat. You're just trying to figure, especially if you're trying to jump into the thing full time. A lot of creators just be like, I'm about to become a full-time creator, and they need to pay their bills. And so I think they take these crappy deals, they take them just like and they end up paying for them because they don't know how much they could actually get with a little bit of negotiation and with a little bit of strategy, LaNée, right? So I
Mhm.
just think that if we're a little bit more strategic and we're a little bit more thoughtful about what we offer, like she said, the value that we offer, but how do you measure that value? I guess that's the question that I would ask you all as when at the beginning of your career. A lot of times we spend that time just trying to prove ourselves. I think at some point you miss it, that like, I'm here, I've proven, I've done it, and you're still like trying to prove when you have the value that you can, at some point you can start to charge more and offer more. But some people don't feel comfortable asking for more money, especially if they don't themselves feel like they deserve it.
Yeah, they're afraid of walking away from the deal, losing the deal. They need the money. So it's like, I don't want to rock the boat. But listen,
Mm-hmm.
rock that boat.
Rock the boat. Leah
Uh,
said it. Rock the boat. Rock it. Rock it. All
hey,
right.
okay, go
You
next
want to go
video.
to next? Okay, let's go to video. Rock the boat.
About negotiating with brands as a Black creator. And I got an overwhelming number of comments like this. Oh my God, it's not even about you being Black. All creators go through things like this. I'm sorry, I don't even understand what this has to do with you being Black. Jackie Aina and Brittany Bright just got on Good Morning America to talk about the pay gap between Black and white influencers and how Black creators make an average of 35% less than their white counterparts. That is one of, if not the biggest racially motivated pay gap in any industry. And the reason this is possible is because there is no standard pay rate for creators. I mean, there's like a range that creators should be charging based on your follower count. But if you Google those ranges, they're huge. And these multi-million-dollar brands are counting on you to not know your worth because they know they do not legally have to pay any particular amount like with other industries. Jackie Aina, who is one of the most well-known Black content creators, was just on the goddamn news talking about how she found out one of her white counterparts was making 4 times more than her working for the same company. And if you are not a Black creator who knows how to negotiate and advocate for yourself, or a Black creator with management, more than likely this is your experience. So yeah, it fucking is about being Black. And for y'all to say that it's not and invalidate a Black person's experience during Black History Month, gross.
So what it sounds like to me, just to me, is the same old, same old. Like, I'm not saying we shouldn't talk about it. I'm not saying that it's right, but it's one of those. It's just history repeating itself. It's not even history repeating itself. It's just the same old shit. Whether you're in corporate America, you work for yourself, you're an influencer, you're on the moon. White folks feel they are entitled to more, better, the top tier. We are second class. They're going to give us what we have left over. Be happy you're getting something. I'm going to give you something to do what I need you to do. I feel like the only area of life where Black folks is paid what they're worth is sports. We need you to come in here and dribble this ball for us so we can make money off of you. So we're going to pay you hundreds of millions of dollars to come and do it. Other than that, anything else, we're going to give you something. We're going to put 5 on it, but we're never going to really give you what you are worth. Not in your job, not in your invoice, not in any arena. That's my take.
And I don't even know I don't even know if they get played enough in sports, considering how much money they make off Black players. Also, how how much the players run down and really run their bodies down over the years, and how often we don't talk about after they get out of the leagues. NFL, they have to deal with CTE sometimes. Basketball players have run their bodies into the ground, and their quality of life lessons. And yes, you got a couple hundred million or whatever you got for that, but I mean, I don't know, is that worth your body? So I hear what you're saying, and I hear your point, Dr. LaNée. I'm just also bringing that up. um I like what she said because it gives us a lot of context. It's so funny. Anonymous keeps saying, like, how do we know this? Just from working in Hollywood, I see the similarities between Black creatives, Black actors, Black writers. I've worked in this industry for over 20 years now, and it's kind of the same. Like we deal with when you're dealing with Hollywood and dealing with pay,
Mhm.
people will take it for a lot less. It's like you really can't create a standard if you're standing next to another actor or another writer saying, "We're not taking less than $100,000, right?" Or "We're not taking less than, I don't know, $20,000," and somebody saying, "I'll do it for 50, 50,
Mm.
$50 or whatever." So it kind of like really compromises the art and how the art of getting paid and how much you're getting paid. But that's kind of the way I see this. Like there's people that's willing to do it for less, and then there's people that's willing to negotiate for more. And I love, love, love how she said there's not a standard. There's not a standard. This is fairly new, people being
Right.
paid to influence, whatever that means. So it's kind of like AI. There's no regulation. So how do you, that means you can go to the moon and ask for, like, take it up, right? If there's
How
no,
could you? How can you regulate influence? How influential somebody is? Like, how do you go in and say, like, hourly pay, okay, experience, okay, but influence? How do we know how influential you are?
Exactly. How do you measure that?
how do you measure influence?
Engagement? Do you have to pay somebody based on how many followers they have? But then that doesn't mean anything. A couple of years ago, and I use this all the time when I'm coaching, there was this creator. She had 1 million followers. 1,000,000, 1 million followers. She started a t-shirt company, created these t-shirts, put them up online. Not one person, not one person
Mhm.
of her 1 million person audience bought. She had no engagement. She had no, I don't, and I didn't look to see if she bought the audience. I didn't look to see if they were real people.
That's the
But
thing.
numbers don't matter. Engagement does. You have
Yeah.
people with 10,000 followers who have more engagement
Yep.
and influence over their audience to purchase and buy than somebody who has 500,000 followers who just have numbers.
Yeah. Can I add something to this,
Yes, me
Aisha?
too.
We're gonna come to you, I promise. I was listening to Drewski talk about not getting paid for or paying $100,000 for his church skit. You know, the church skit where he was like,
Mhm.
at the church, mocking pastors, modern day pastors who just care about money, right? And he paid $100,000 to make the skit. He said he
Mm.
didn't make any money, but Drewski got, I want to say, 100 million views from that. So from that, he is now hosting the BET Awards. So I think that either way, like it just depends on how you use your influence, there's a strategy here that's like, even if you're putting money or investing money into the brand itself, and then you're attracting these bigger opportunities, these better opportunities. And I think Drewski is a great example of someone who invests, like he creates these skits for people to enjoy, and they're getting bigger and better every time. And that exposure is really making a difference in his life, I think.
Absolutely. Go ahead,
But again,
Aisha.
the thing is, you just never know, right? So he made that skit. He said he didn't make any money, but then somebody else sees it as something huge, and now it's being converted to something else. So we just never know when it comes to influence or numbers, because again, at the end of the day, what are they going to get out of it? So now he did that. Now they say, oh wow, he might be great to bring us audience because he was able to attract this many eyeballs to his skit. Let's get him on, right? Because they see a value proposition that he can bring to them. So I think at
Mhm.
the end of the day, when it comes to money, making money, rewarding someone, paying someone, whether we like it or not, is a conversion making sense? That at the end of the day, if our conversion doesn't make sense to the company, we're not going to get our worth. And if it
Mhm.
does, maybe we need to make sure that we, like Dr. LaNée said, take some class, understand what you're bringing to the table so that you can actually demand what you think you deserve, right? That will be the way we can definitely kind of maybe do better in that space, because otherwise this will be happening over and over again. The colorism, the pay gap, and just the lack of getting rewarded for what you've done. So I
Mhm.
think again, it's just a matter of, you just never know as well, but knowing your worth and demanding when the time comes of what you deserve.
Dr. LaNée, I have a question for you in terms of
Right.
like strategy. So there's an influencer that wants to get into the business of influencing, whatever that is, whether it's makeup or whatever that is. How do you coach them up? Like, what do you tell them in the beginning of their journey? Does that change once they have 5,000 followers, 10,000 followers, 50,000 followers? How does that strategy change? And what do you tell them up top? Like, do you tell them to coin certain things? What do you tell them from the beginning?
It definitely changes with numbers, right? Because a person who is just getting started, trying to make their first 1,000, the strategy is going to be different than 5,000 going to 10, 10 going to 20, etc. But if somebody is just getting started and they're trying to figure out how to become an influencer or create UGC, number one, I would say find somebody that you love, whose content or whose brand is it that you love, that you would like to see yourself mimic, if you will, because that can then become your muse. If it's not broke, don't fix it. You don't have to be out here recreating the wheel. Find somebody who is doing what you want to do, and then look at their path. Success leaves breadcrumbs. I say that all the time. Success leaves breadcrumbs. A lot of times, especially as Black folks, we out here, we want to be like, I want to be the first one to do it. Why? They already did it. They already they did all the fails. They broke all the stuff. They made the bad business moves, the bad marketing decisions. Go see what they did wrong so that you know where to step to do it right.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first thing. Find a muse. The second one is to study them, right? Study what they did, study what they did right. If they have the brand deals and the brand partnerships that you like and you want, most times people are out here talking about what they did, how they did it, what to do, what not to do. The majority of us do that, right? Because we use it as content, we use it as education content, but most people don't listen or pay attention. So I would go and say that too, right? Whenever I find a use for a client, I do competitive research. What are they doing? What are they doing right? What didn't they do right? Mm-hmm. And then the third thing I would say to do is never copy, never steal. I'm going to say that again. Never copy, never steal. However, nothing is new under the sun. You don't have to recreate the wheel. Look at their content. What are they talking about? What of their content is getting the best reach and the best numbers, and put your spin on it. Okay, so you're not copying, but because success leaves breadcrumbs, we can go and see if they did a post about, if it's beauty, if they did a post about how to do how to correct dark spots on your face, that's not their content, right? That people are interested in that. So now you think for yourself, how can I create content around how to remove dark spots for your skin in a way that benefits a brand?
You tell your story. You tell your story around that.
You're basically you're taking the content and weaving your story in it. So it's your perspective on how to remove dark spots, if you will, right?
Yeah.
Because people want to know about how to remove dark spots. You don't have to go out here and try to feel like, what am I going to create? They want to know about this. You can go and look at somebody who's doing what you want to do and see, what are people talking about? Read the comments. Mm-hmm. The comments have the best content creation. People will be skipping over. If people are in the comments asking questions, that means there's information they want to know. I teach a lot of my clients, read comments, go answer the question. Read comments, go answer the question. If somebody asks about, but I have darker skin and my face is, I live in Dakota and it's colder, then you go to your copy or your content and say, I want to talk to you guys about how to help your dark spots if you live in a colder climate. You're not stealing, you're just creating content. And what happens is brands that want to get in front of people will look at your copy and your content and say, oh my God, what they're doing is great. People are engaging with them. They're talking about the stuff that the people want to know. And then that's how you start to align yourself with brands. You start using the products of the brands that you want. And then tagging them. And before you know it, those brands will start coming to you. You don't have to, you can get a brand deal with 1,000 followers.
Yeah.
Followers. It doesn't take a lot. It takes engagement and it takes intentionality.
Yeah. I love that. I do have another video. I'm going to pull it up now. In the meantime, while I'm pulling up the video, Aisha, You don't want to add anything to that, do you?
Well, it just like
That's
just what
short.
I'm saying. Yeah, I love it. You know, like you said, don't compare. Just see what it is. Find your own spin, right? So that you can carve your own path. Because the way I may present something, even though it's the same, may be different, and somebody might want the way I presented it. So just get your own spin. Don't compare. Just get your spin and roll with it.
All right. All right. Here we go. Uh-oh. Can we not hear that?
Mm-mm.
All right. The internet is ancient. It's annoying. Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
Okay. LaNée, well, I'm trying to get this to work.
I'll do
Oh,
the Black
no.
History Women fact while you do that.
Huh?
Let me do stats or the Black History.
Yeah, let's do stats. We already did that person for Black History, so we will not do that person again.
Cool. So our stats include influencer marketing is projected to generate billions with a B annually worldwide. Black creators consistently drive major internet trends across music, beauty, fashion, and entertainment. Studies have shown that Black influencers are often paid less than white creators with similar engagement metrics. Brands increasingly rely on creator partnerships instead of traditional advertising because it's way less. And then many influencers report inconsistent income despite high visibility and large followings.
I also have this. Just let's see. What did we already? Black creators with widespread participation. I think. Let's see. No. Okay. I have this last one. Yes. Well, we already said this. Okay. All right. Cool. We're good.
Yeah, I think that I think that, and I'm trying to be delicate, but I feel like I'm going to have to say it how I feel it, which is that I believe that we as a community think that when something is new, that means it's going to be fair, right? When we're coming to a space of influencer marketing, so this should really just be based on your reach, your numbers, and your engagement. That should be fair, right? If she has this and I have that, we should be paid the same. And yet again, you kind of feel like you got tricked. Like, damn it, they brought it over here to influencing. They're bringing it into AI. We cannot get away from racism. We cannot get away from being paid less, receiving less, having our voting rights taken from us. We just can't seem to get away from or get a fair leg or grounding in any area or arena of life. And so in one breath, it feels like, and I'm going to use this as my final thought. In one breath, it feels like we're hoping for some type of equality in anything, in any arena. Like, just pay us fairly, treat us fairly. And at every turn, it's like a slap in the face or a door closing that says, nah. Not even in something as simple as algorithms on the internet to go out and talk about a product that you like. Will we pay you what we're going to pay somebody else? It's infuriating. That's going to be my final thought. Aisha, your final thought for today. What are your thoughts around this conversation relative to pay gaps, creator content, others coming into and monetizing our culture and being paid more than us for it?
Now, it's going to always be like this based on just the history of what we're dealing with in the United States. I have a little spin that I will put in, so excuse me here. The same scenario, and I'm born and raised in Nigeria, same scenario, it happens there too. Let's say you're from the north, from the south. That's how we can separate now, right? We use geographical area to separate where we're all from. So let's say somebody's from the south and now they're working in the north and they have a job. Trust me, the northerner would pay the northerner more than they'll pay somebody from the south. It's just this innate thing about human beings that they want to pay people that look like them more if they have the opportunity. It's not fair, but that's just sometimes the way things are. And I also feel that if we can accept that quickly, then we can move further, faster, instead of thinking it's going to change. Because we know that every community wants their people to do better, period. If I own the business and I'm the certain color, and other people come to my organization, and somebody that looks like me come to my organization, I will do my best to pay the one that looks like me more. It's not fair, but it's just human nature. So I think if we quickly accept that, we can just move and just say, listen, it is what it is. What is my next move? What is my next move? Who can I collaborate with that looks like me, so we can actually grow bigger, better, faster, and not keep relying over and over again on the same people that we know will give us the same result. Right. So I think that is how I am thinking about it, because I know that it's not going to change. I've been here a long time, and I've seen that it doesn't change, and I'm part of it, and I see it happening. And I'm hoping that we as a people will just say, listen, let's just see what we can do together, and then stay on that track, and find a way where we can be the ones now hiring each other and paying what we deserve, what we're worth, because the other people are not going to do it. No matter how we beat our heads and get upset, it's always going to be like that. It's just human nature. With that being said, my name is Aisha Verzi. You can find me in the Black Business School. And if you have questions regarding your finances, you want to know how to sell things properly, if you make that money, keep that money, let's have a chat.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Miss Black Hollywood, Tierra Williams. What about you? What are your final thoughts for today?
Listen, I just think that stressful, right? I'm saying just so stressed out. You know what I mean? It just LaNée bought me some cigarettes, so I'm gonna just take it and smoke it because I'm stressed out. Y'all stress me out.
I love it.
In all seriousness, now I've been thinking about this. I think we just have to have audacity, y'all. I really do. I think that if you know that you offer, if you're funny, if you're smart, if you know that you have a thing, trust that thing. And just really, when it comes to deals, and just learn better how to advocate for yourself. I mean, talk to AI about creating a strategy. Like, I just remember thinking about, I think Anonymous had mentioned Baby or Cash Money earlier, about how they coined bling bling. And I always remember Baby's story of how he said that when they went in and had a meeting, one of their first meetings with a record label, they went in and asked for, like, they just had audacity. He was like, I want $1 gajillion and this and this and this and this and this. And at first the guy was like, yeah, no deal has ever been done like that before. He was like, that's what I'm asking for. And they ended up getting it. So I would just say, no matter what, I mean, really, no matter what, just have the audacity, and just know that 9 times out of 10, if you're charging something, just times 2 that thing, add some tax, and stop stressing me out. If you want to work with me, and you want to know more about story and how to tell your story in a brand, so you're not copying and pasting other people's content, give me a call. I'm at MissBlackHollywood.net, or I'm at Miss Black Hollywood across all platforms. By the way, this is not a real cigarette.
It is not.
It is gum. After LaNée bought me, she know I'd be smoking. If I had a cigarette, sometimes I'd smoke it. It's. Go ahead, Dr. LaNée.
It's that bubble gum cigarette from the ice cream truck. They are hard as hell. They last for about like 15 seconds to chew in.
15 seconds. That's it. But every time I feel stressed, I just.
But it's a good time. It's a good time. It's a good time. I love that for us. Okay.
And you hold it so well. Oh my gosh! Like, are you serious?
Oh, because I'm an actor. I just get stressful. Okay, what are we doing now?
Okay, so that's it for today. That is it for today. Okay, honey, let me tell you. At the end of the day, this conversation is not about influencers. It's about understanding value in the digital economy, where attention has become currency, but not everybody is being paid equally for the attention that they generate. Black creators continue shaping culture at a massive level, yet many are still fighting for fair compensation, ownership, and long-term stability in industries built off visibility and engagement. Because going viral may create attention, but ownership is what creates real wealth.
Mhm.
That being said, I'm Dr. LaNée Javette. You can find me at I am Dr. LaNée Javette. Go and support and go follow Miss Black Hollywood as well as Aisha Verzi. And we do this every Monday through Friday, 1:00 p.m. Eastern. You can catch us right here on YouTube. You can catch us on Spotify. You can also text the word Queens, Queens, to 87948 so that you can be notified when we go live. You can always come back and watch the replay. As always, want you to go out and have a great day on today. We thank you. We love you. We thank you so much for supporting us. Tell a friend to tell a friend, share this, subscribe, do all the things, but go out, be blessed, stay black, be bold, and be one. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace out.
It is really hard, LaNée.
Peace out.